Dear students, now we are going to discuss about RF amplifier and its power relations.
RF amplifier is an amplifier which strengthens the input signal in the high frequency range. Since it is a high frequency amplifier, it is characterized by using the S parameters. So next, the key parameters which are mainly used to describe the characteristics of the RF amplifier. Gain and gain flatness, that is measured in dB. Operating frequency and bandwidth, output power, input and output reflection coefficients, noise figure and power requirements. So these all are the key parameters which are used to analyze the performance of the RF amplifier. There are some parameters which can affect the performance of an amplifier. These are intermodulation distortion, harmonics, heating effect and feedback from the output to input side. So these all are the parameters affect the performance of an amplifier. Next we are going to discuss about amplifier power relation. There are various power gains present in the different stages of amplifier circuit. The power relations between the different stages are mainly used to analyze the stability of the amplifier. Here we are going to consider a general single stage amplifier with two matching networks at input side and output side. This is RF source which can generate the signal. Input matching network is mainly used to match the input side. Likewise, the output matching network is used to match the load impedance with the characteristics impedance. The amplifier is characterized by its S parameters. Matching networks are mainly used to avoid unwanted reflections at both input and output sides. So this is the simplified RF amplifier circuit. The source is replaced as voltage source in series with source impedance. So this portion represents the RF source. And the load is replaced by the load impedance. The amplifier is characterized by its S parameters. S11, that is at the input side. Amplifier is having two ports. This is the first port, this is the second port. So there is some reflection at this first port, that is represented as S11. At the second port it is represented as S22. S21. S21 is nothing but the forward transmission. That is the signal transmitted from the first port to the second port. Okay, this is the first port, this is the second port. So S21 represents the forward transmission from the first port to second port. And S12. 12 means the signal from second port to first port in the reverse direction. So these four parameters represent the characteristics of amplifier. And the signals are represented in terms of normalized signals A and B. Here A represents the incident or input signals. B represents the reflected waves. A is input or incident wave. B represent reflected wave voltage. So here A1 is the input signal actually given to this amplifier. So this is the A1 actually given to this amplifier. If there is any impedance mismatch, the signal, some of the signals can be reflected back. So the reflected signal is denoted as B1. So this B1 after this point, it is going to be the input to this RF source. As I mentioned, the input signal can be represented as A, reflected signal can be represented as B. So here A1 is the input to the amplifier, B1 is the reflected signal from the amplifier. This B1 is converted to A1 dash, that means this is the input signal to this RF source. So A1 dash is the input to this RF source. Then there may be some reflection that is represented as B1 dash. So likewise here A2 is the input. If I am going to consider from this second port, A2 is the incident wave amplitude to this amplifier, means there may be some reflection. So that reflection can be represented as B2. So this B2 is converted as A2 dash and given as the input to this load impedance. If there is some impedance mismatch, some of the signals can be reflected as a B2 dash. Okay, so the signal flow looks like this. Okay, so this is the signal flow. So this signal flow can be represented simply like this. This BS, it is the signal like this. Here we can mention this is BS. That is the actual signal generated from the RF source. As we know that this is the B1 dash, A1, B2, A2 dash and B2 dash, A2, B1, A1 dash. We have simply drawn the simplified diagram. Okay. So in this one, what is the point of this del S and del L? Okay. So this is we can represent as gamma S, gamma L. So here one important point, that is if I am going to consider the reflection. Okay, the reflection from this input side, that can be represented as gamma in. If I am going to represent the reflection from this source side, that can be represented as gamma S. Okay, if I am looking towards the input of the amplifier, that is represented as gamma in, input reflection coefficient. This is source reflection coefficient. Likewise, if I am going to looking towards this output of the amplifier, that reflection is represented as gamma out. If I am going to looking towards this load, that can be represented as gamma L. Okay, so the same thing over here. This is what gamma S. If I am going to looking towards this direction, means it is gamma in. Likewise, at this point it is gamma out. At this point it is gamma L. So this signal flow graph is very important to analyze the various power gains. Next, we are going to derive incident power, input power, available power, load power, transducer power gain, unilateral transducer gain and operating gain of the RF amplifier. First, we are going to derive the incident power of the RF amplifier. This incident power is the actual output of the source. So here we have to consider RF source signals. So BS is the actual output from the source. This B1 dash is the reflected signal along with this BS. So this is the output of the source side. Okay. So this is the A1 dash, that is input given to this RF source from the amplifier. And then we can have gamma S and gamma in. So from this signal flow graph, we come to know that the incident power is equal to 1 by 2 B1 dash the whole square. So this is the actual incident value. So here we can use this power formula. Consider that as the first equation. So next we are going to find out the value of this B1 dash. For that we are using Mason's rule. So what is Mason's rule? That is the output by input. This is the final output. This is the actual input. So B1 dash by Bs is equal to summation Pk del K divided by del. So consider this as the equation A. So what is this Pk del K? So here K is the number of forward path between the input and output side. Pk is the gain of the forward path. Del K is the value of 1 minus gain of individual loop that does not touch the forward path. Del is equal to 1 minus gain of individual loops plus gain product of two non-touching loops. Okay, so from this signal diagram, what is K? K is the number of forward path. Here there is only one forward path, so K is equal to 1. So now we can write this equation as P1 del 1 divided by del. Okay, so what is the value of P? P is the gain of the forward path. So here the gain is nothing but 1. So P1 is equal to 1 and del 1 is equal to 1 minus gain of individual loop that does not touch the forward path. Here we are having only one loop that touches the forward path. So here this del 1 value is equal to 1 minus 0. So this is also equal to 1. P1 is also equal to 1. So what is the value of del? So del is equal to 1 minus gain of individual loops. Correct. Here we are having individual loop. 1 minus the gain of this individual loop is what? Del is equal to 1 minus the gain of this individual loop is gamma in into gamma s. So gamma in into gamma s. So we can write that values are P1 is equal to 1, del 1 is equal to 1 and del is equal to 1 minus gamma in gamma s. We are going to substitute these values in this equation A. Okay, so now we can get B1 dash by Bs is equal to P1 del 1 divided by del, that is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus del in gamma s. Okay, so from this we have to move this Bs to this right hand side in the numerator side. So we can get B1 dash is equal to Bs divided by 1 minus gamma in into gamma s. So consider this as the second equation. So we are going to substitute the value of B1 dash as Bs by 1 minus gamma in into gamma s in the first equation. So this is the first equation, right? So this is the first equation. Incident power is equal to 1 by 2 B1 dash the whole square. So this B1 dash is replaced by Bs divided by 1 minus del in del s. That is a square term. So we can get finally incident power is equal to 1 by 2 into Bs square divided by 1 minus del in del s the whole square. So consider this as the third equation. Here gamma in is the input reflection coefficient. Gamma s is the source reflection coefficient. So this is the final answer for the incident power. So next we are going to find out the input power. So here we have to consider both the incident and reflected powers. So here input power means what? This is the amplifier means. So whichever signal is getting into this amplifier. So that is called as input signal. So here we have to consider the incident signal along with the reflection from this amplifier, from this input side. Okay, so we have to consider the incident along with the reflected power. So input power is equal to incident power into 1 minus del, that is gamma in, that is input reflection coefficient the whole square. Okay, so gamma in square, that is the fourth equation. So we have already derived the value of incident power, that is the third equation, right? So we are going to substitute this value in this equation. So we can get input power is equal to 1 by 2 into Bs squared by 1 minus gamma in gamma s the whole squared into 1 minus gamma in squared. So consider this as the fifth equation. This is the expression for the input power. So next we are going to find out the value of available power or maximum power. So that is denoted as P suffix capital A. Available power or maximum power. So condition for obtaining the maximum power transfer in the amplifier circuit, we have to ensure that source impedance should be the complex conjugate of input impedance. The same for reflection coefficients also, that is gamma S. Source reflection coefficient is equal to conjugate of input reflection coefficient. So we can obtain available power or maximum power when the input power has the condition del, that is gamma in. Okay, input reflection coefficient is equal to conjugate of source reflection coefficient. Now we can apply the fifth equation, that is we have already derived for input power in this available power equation. So available power is equal to 1 by 2 Bs squared by 1 minus gamma in gamma s the whole squared into 1 minus gamma in squared. The condition for available power is gamma in is equal to gamma s star. So in the next step, we have to replace this value, that is gamma n as gamma s star. Okay, so in that case, we can obtain the value as gamma s star into gamma s. So that value becomes gamma s square. So from this condition, we come to know one more thing. So gamma in is equal to gamma s star means this gamma in becomes gamma s. Okay, so that value into its conjugate becomes. So we can write the same as gamma s is equal to gamma in star. Both are same, right? So at that time, this value becomes gamma s. So now we can cancel this and this square term. We can obtain that power available in the amplifier is equal to 1 by 2 Bs squared by 1 minus gamma s squared. So consider this as the sixth equation. Okay. So if gamma n is equal to 0, that is gamma n in is equal to, that is input reflection coefficient is equal to 0 means the source reflection coefficient should not be 0, because we know that it is the conjugate of this value. So if it is 0 means it should not be equal to 0. Then the incident power becomes, we have already derived that incident power as Bs squared by 2 into 1 minus gamma in gamma s the whole square. So here gamma in is equal to 0 means this term becomes 0. Correct. So incident power becomes Bs squared by 2. So now we can substitute that value over here, that is Bs squared by 2 as incident power divided by 1 minus gamma s squared. So both are same. Is that okay? So consider this as the seventh equation. So available power in terms of incident power as P incident by 1 minus gamma s the whole square. Now we are going to derive transducer power gain of RF amplifier. So it is denoted as GT, that is equal to the ratio of power delivered to the load to the available power in the network. Okay, available power in the network or in the amplifier. So GT is equal to load power to the available power. This is the definition. Transducer power gain is equal to the ratio of load power to the available power. So now we have already derived that available power. Correct. So now we are going to get that load power. So power delivered to the load is nothing but PL is equal to 1 by 2 B2 squared into 1 minus del L squared. Actually speaking, we are finally getting the value as B2. Correct. This is the output from the amplifier. So B2 square. Generally PL is equal to B2 by 2. But we have to consider the reflection coefficient at the load side also. Okay. So because of the impedance mismatch, there may be some reflection. So we have to say the load power is equal to 1 by 2 B2 squared into 1 minus gamma L squared. And we have already derived, that is available power is equal to Bs squared by 1 minus gamma S squared. So we have to take the ratio between these two. So Gt, that is transducer gain, is equal to PL by PA, that is equal to 1 by 2 B2 squared into 1 minus gamma L squared divided by 1 by 2. This is PA value, 1 by 2 Bs squared by 1 minus gamma S squared. So 1 by 2, 1 by 2 cancel each other, and this value goes to this numerator, and we can get transducer gain is equal to B2 by Bs squared into 1 minus gamma L squared into 1 minus gamma S squared. Consider this as the eighth equation. Okay, so next we are going to find out the ratio of B2 by Bs. So for that we are going to use Mason's rule. Okay, Mason's power transfer rule. So this is the formula. B2 by Bs is equal to summation Pk del K by del. So here we have to consider the signal flow graph. So here we can start with that Bs. This is the actual output from the source. So there is a source, means this is the actual output from the source to this amplifier circuit. Okay, so I have already explained the signal flow graph in the part 1, right? You can refer the part 1 video also. Here we can consider this loop. So here Bs is the input side, here output side is B2, correct? So B2 by Bs is equal to summation Pk del K by del. So how many forward paths are there? There is only one forward path from this Bs to B2. So here K is equal to 1. So next, what is the value of P1? That is the gain of the forward path. Here the gain is 1, here the gain is 1, here it is S21. So we can get 1 into 1 into S21 is nothing but S21. So P1 is equal to S21. So this Mason rule can be written like this. We have found this P1 value is 1 into S21. So answer is what? S21. So next we are going to find out the del 1 value. So here the del 1 is equal to what? 1 minus gain of the loop which does not touch the forward path. Here this is the one loop, one complete loop, starts from B1 dash to this B1 dash again. B1 to A1, A1 to B1, B1 to A1 dash, and then B1 dash. So this is the one complete loop. Correct. So then there is another one loop, that is B2 to A2, A2 to B2, A2 and then B2. So this is one complete loop. There is another one loop from this point B1 to A1, B2, A2, B2 dash, A2, B1, A1 dash and B1 dash. So the whole path, the whole together as the 3 loops. Okay, but all these 3 loops touch the forward path. So there is no loop without touching the forward path. So the gain value becomes 0. So del 1 value is equal to what now? It is equal to 1. So we have found P1 is equal to S21, del 1 is equal to 1. So next value is del. Okay. So how are we going to find out the value of del? Yes. It's very, very important. 1 minus gain of the loops. So it is the general term, gain of the loops. How many loops are there? 3 loops. First loop. What is the gain of this first loop? Here it is 1. Here it is S11. Here it is 1. Nothing is given, right? That is 1. So here it is del S. So for this first loop, the value is S11 into del S. So 1 minus del S that is del is nothing but gamma. Okay, gamma s into S11 plus for the second loop, the value is what? Here it is 1, here it is 1. So 1 into gamma L into 1 into S22. So gamma L into S22 plus the third loop. It's a very big loop, right? 1 into S21, 1 into gamma L into S12 into gamma S. There are 4 values. So we can write plus S21 gamma L S12 gamma S. So this is the gain of the loops plus what is this? This is the gain product of two non-touching loops. So this is first loop and the second loop. These two loops are not touching each other. So we are going to multiply the gain of the first loop and the gain of the second loop as the product. So here it is del gamma S into S11. Here it is gamma L into S22. So we can write like this. So now we have obtained the values of P1, del 1 and del. So next step, okay. Next step, we are going to multiply this minus inside this bracket. We can get 1 minus gamma S S11 minus gamma L S22 minus S12 S21 into gamma S plus this value. And then we are going to simplify further. Okay, so here we can write this value as such 1 minus gamma S S11. Okay, next this is gamma L S22. So in this one there is gamma L and S22. Common terms are there. Okay, so we are going to take that value outside. So minus gamma L S22, if I am going to take outside means this value becomes 1 and this value becomes minus gamma S S11. Correct. I have taken minus gamma L S22. So the remaining term is minus gamma S into S11. Then minus this term we can write as such. Okay. In the next step, we can see this value and this value both are common. So we can take it outside. So 1 minus gamma S S11 means this term becomes 1. So into 1 minus this term is gamma L S22 minus this term we can write as such. So the del value is equal to 1 minus gamma S S11 into 1 minus gamma L S22 minus S1 to S21 gamma L gamma S. Now we are going to substitute all this P1, del 1 and del values in this Mason rule. So we can get B2 by Bs is equal to, in the numerator is what? P1 into del 1. Del 1 is equal to 1. P1 value is what? S21 divided by del value is what? 1 minus gamma S S11 into 1 minus gamma L S22 minus S1 to S21 gamma L gamma S. So this can be the ninth equation. So now we are going to substitute this ninth equation in the eighth equation. So what is the eighth equation? So eighth equation is nothing but this is the eighth equation. Transducer gain is equal to B2 by Bs the whole squared 1 minus gamma L squared into 1 minus gamma S squared. Correct? So in this one, this value B2 by Bs can be replaced by this value. So here it is squared. So we have to square all the terms. So S21 squared into 1 minus gamma L squared into 1 minus gamma S squared divided by this denominator can be squared. So all the terms the whole squared. So this is the 10th equation. So this is the expression for the transducer power gain of the RF amplifier. So next we are going to find out the value of unilateral power gain, that is represented as GTU. U represents unilateral. So uni means what? It represents only the forward direction. So it is the forward power gain. Okay, it is the forward power gain of an amplifier with the reverse power gain as 0. There is no reverse flow. That is S12 is equal to 0. In amplifier S12 means what? From the second port to first port. The flow of signal from second port to first port. Second to first means it is the reverse direction. So S12 is equal to 0. Very simple. We are going to substitute this value in this transducer gain. We can obtain the unilateral power gain. It is very simple. Okay. So we are going to substitute that S12 is equal to 0 in the 10th equation, then we can get the maximum, that is unilateral transducer power gain is equal to S21 squared 1 minus gamma L squared into 1 minus gamma S squared divided by 1 minus gamma S S11 the whole squared 1 minus del L, that is gamma L S22 the whole square. Correct? Because in this 10th equation, this S12 become 0. It becomes 0 means the whole term becomes 0. So we can get that unilateral power gain as like this. Consider this as the 11th equation. So next we are going to find out the maximum unilateral power gain. The maximum gain can be obtained by making the source reflection coefficient is equal to S11 star, that is complex conjugate of that self reflection of the amplifier. So gamma S is equal to S11 star and gamma L is equal to S22 star. At that time alone we can get the maximum gain. So transducer, unilateral transducer maximum gain can be obtained like this. So what we are going to do means, we know this is the unilateral transducer gain. So in this equation, we are going to replace this S11 as gamma S star. This S22 as gamma L star. At the time, this term becomes what in the denominator? This becomes gamma S squared the whole square. This term becomes 1 minus gamma L the square the whole square. The same can be written like this. Okay. So maximum unilateral gain is equal to S21 squared into 1 minus gamma L squared into 1 minus gamma S squared divided by 1 minus gamma S squared the whole squared 1 minus gamma L squared the whole squared. So we can cancel this with the square term, this with the square term. Finally, we can obtain the maximum unilateral transducer gain is equal to S21 squared divided by 1 minus gamma S squared into 1 minus gamma L squared. Okay, so maximum unilateral gain depends on the forward transmission coefficient and the source reflection coefficient and load reflection coefficients. Okay, it is very important one. So next, operating power gain. Operating power gain is the ratio of load power to the input power. Simply we can say operating power gain is equal to the ratio of load power to the input power. So this can be written as in terms of transducer gain. So G is equal to PL by PN. We can write that same as a load power to available power into available power to input power. We have already derived all the terms, right? Input power, available power and load power. So we can say this PL, load power to available power, is nothing but transducer, unilateral transducer power gain. So that is multiplied by available power to input power. So this represents the gain relation. Operating power gain is directly proportional to unilateral power gain. So next we are going to find out the available power to input power. For that we have to substitute the values of available power and input power here. So 1 by 2 Bs squared by 1 minus gamma S squared divided by 1 by 2 Bs squared by 1 minus gamma in gamma S the whole squared into 1 minus gamma in squared. Right. So we can cancel this 1 by 2 and Bs squared and Bs squared, and this term goes to this numerator. Correct. So we can get available power to input power is equal to 1 minus gamma in gamma S the whole square divided by 1 minus gamma S squared into 1 minus gamma in squared. So this is the ratio of available power to input power. Okay. What is the value of unilateral transducer power gain? We have already derived this value. So we can write that value as such. So next we have to substitute this in this operating power gain formula. So what is operating power gain? G is equal to GTU into PA by PN. So we have derived PA by PN like this. NGTU value is given like this. So substitute these values here and we can cancel the terms 1 minus gamma s squared, and here it is 1 minus gamma s squared. Likewise, so here this term we can cancel. Okay, square and square. We can finally obtain the operating power gain is equal to S21 squared into 1 minus gamma L squared divided by 1 minus gamma L S22 the whole square into 1 minus gamma in squared. So this is the final answer.